G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. I'm going to cover the interview with Tim Vaughn, the battery man at Aptera by Aptera Owners Club. And the video, as we can see up the top left-hand corner, is Aptera battery with Tim, full interview. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole 48 minutes. I'm just going to take little bits out of it if I ever need to, because I've seen the 3 individual videos and I have no argument with Tim Vaughn. I think he seems like a nice guy, and from everything he said, it all sounds fine. It's all plausible. Nothing wrong with Tim. But what I do want to say, if nothing else, is that these 4 videos are a diversion from what's going on, and that is pretty much nothing going on. It is a diversion, and they'll do anything to get the minds off the current issues. At the moment, the big issue is the fact that they've changed the drivetrain completely, and kudos to the cretin for actually discovering who the suppliers are. I'm pretty sure Chris McCannon is busy trying to put out a full disclosure video on everything he can say about the new drivetrain. But enough of that. We'll let that pan out. I'm pretty sure I might be making a video once Chris McCannon has made one. The main reason I'm wanting to comment on this video is because I just thought I'd use this video to get this off my chest. It occurred to me after watching the video about the new drivetrain, and that is this. A lot of the fanboys have been saying I need to apologise when Aptera comes out for being wrong. It's looking like I'm not going to be wrong, but what I've always said is I have a great interest in cars and motorbikes, always have. I've had 57 so far and will still probably get more. And if there was any such thing as an Aptera in the manner that they present it, I would be lining up to buy it. It's the fact that I regard it to be an absolute scam that I don't put down a pre-order. And I've always said that. But I've always said that my stipulation is I don't buy things that I don't know are good. And there's no evidence that this thing is good. It sounds good. And so I would be interested. But what I've said to fanboys is that if it comes out at the price that they've been saying it costs for years, and it comes out and does all the performance measures that they have claimed, then I would buy one. With the rider that I spend 6 months waiting to see what owners think of it. Let other people be the lab rats. Let them work out if it's any good or not first. And then, if it meets all expectations, then I would buy one. And I don't mind waiting. So, with this news that there's no in-hub motors, which I think is a great thing actually, but with this news that there's no in-hub motors, added to the news that everything pretty much has changed, beginning with the carbon fibre body, the lack of a heat pump, the lack of paint, the lack of regen braking, the lack of torque vectoring, and every other thing that they have failed to deliver. That's right, the big one, the lack of a belly pan that skin cools. All of these things, their changes are so large that I am not even obligated to buy one anymore. If this thing does come out, it's not what they promised. It's nothing like what they promised. And so, no promise by me. I wouldn't be interested in what they end up coming out with because I think it will be highly inferior as a product. It won't be fit for purpose. You can get so many better EVs for your money. And that's the main reason why I do this, but I will just run through it and just pick out little pieces that may be worth talking about. Who knows? I might not do a thing after this, or say a thing.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I'm joined by Tim, and Tim is the battery lead engineer at Aptera. Tim, can you kind of introduce yourself? Tell us what your actual position is and what you do at Aptera.
Sure, thank you. Nice to see all of you guys, at least vicariously via this interview. I'm the director of battery and special projects, and what that means is I have overall responsibility for the battery system development and production of the battery system at Aptera. And then, as far as special projects are concerned, we'll branch off into certain areas, maybe interesting solar activities with our solar technology and anything else interesting that comes up. that I can participate in. I'm tasked with doing that pretty regularly. So I joined Aptera not long ago. I think it was February. After working with Steve at Flux Power for a while. So some years ago, before Steve started Aptera, he joined us at Flux for a while to help us out, get us out of a pinch, and help me with running production while I focused on engineering there.
Are you at liberty to tell us about suppliers? Like a couple of years ago, they said that Eve Energy was going to be one of the suppliers for the battery cells. Is that still the case? Or are you guys looking at other suppliers, or
we are looking at a few, and I'm not at liberty to tell you which ones. I'm sorry.
So is the battery pack design now finalized? Are we like 100% finalized and we're just now building and testing, or is it still we still haven't nailed it down yet?
Well, it's as finalized as any good design can be until you build the first prototypes with the production intent tooling. But the PI builds that are underway now, those will be built with production intent tooling.
So is the production, the battery packs that we saw in the most recent update, are those based on a production intent tooling, or are those prototype tooling?
Those were prototype.
And how long do you think this testing takes in general? Like, does it take 2 months, 6 months, 9 months?
Let's carve out the road testing and
Okay.
not address that, because that can take, we'll be learning for years about the batteries in the real world.
I see.
The lab type testing, I would think it's probably a few months of testing.
Okay.
Environmental testing can take a fair bit of time to set up. Building environmental chambers to put a whole vehicle in is certainly more involved than just an oven to put a battery in. So those kinds of things could push it out multiple months, I imagine.
Chris M came on Discord and he mentioned something about the number of cells in the module had to go down a small amount because some space had to be added. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the frame contributes to some of the structural rigidity of the vehicle as a whole. So it participates in the crash protection in a sense. And one of the key things we need to be worried about is any intrusion into the battery pack touching and rupturing cells. So by removing a row of cells from the module, we were able to get the battery, the outside edge of the battery, further away from the outside of the vehicle, so that any deformation of the side of the battery and a side impact would not impinge upon the module or hit any of the cells.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us, Tim. These are the questions that the community has, and we appreciate your expertise and your time to talk to us about it.
Well, you're certainly welcome, and thanks for putting in all the effort to put these things together so everybody can see the same thing you're seeing.
All right.
I'm sure they enjoy it.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Hopefully, when I visit down there, I'll get to meet you in person.
Oh.
Well, Tim has passed with flying colours. There is nothing I need to nitpick on. But getting back to the cretin and his visit that has been going on for months and months and months. He did have a date once, but he's not been given another date since. The cretin has walked into Carlsbad once before, and he walked around with his eyes wide shut. He never questioned anything, but this time it's been ages since he's been back. He should open his eyes and actually ask questions about everything that he sees, and particularly everything that he should be seeing that isn't there still. He needs to really ask questions. Now, I would give him a list, but unfortunately, he's got me blocked, and so I might have to give him that list via that person I mentioned on my site, because in recent comments, Steve has offered to ask questions on my behalf. If he would not block me, I would just put the list down on one of his videos. But still, I'll get the list to him, and let's see how he handles the questions I have. I'm sure they'll be more hard-hitting than anything he can ever think of while he's licking butts. Anyway, that's all from me. Bye for now. Stay safe.
Certainly.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.